All right, another question of the week. Question is BlueHost versus, and this question is kind of a compound question. It was BlueHost versus HostGator, BlueHost versus GoDaddy, BlueHost versus, all these other companies. And I was like, you know what? I need to just compile something and put this together in one answer because these are just going to keep coming and coming and coming. So I have an article going out that's BlueHost versus the top web hosting companies. My take from reviewing over 30 web hosting companies over the last 8 years. Yes, I have used a lot more than that. And yes, I have lost track of almost all of them. With BlueHost, I gotta be honest with you. I have a love-hate relationship with BlueHost. BlueHost for cheap shared hosting has the best phone support of any shared host that I've ever used. It rivals the phone support that I get at LiquidWeb, and I've been a customer at least 4 years at LiquidWeb, and I've had multiple dedicated servers the entire time. Just recently have I slimmed down to one at LiquidWeb. Point being, I've spent a decent amount of money with them, more than the average user. The love-hate relationship with BlueHost really is about them being acquired by EIG, I believe in between 2012 and 2014. If you don't know who EIG is, they're a large conglomerate that buys hosting companies and they're publicly traded. So their number one, intention is to be profitable. They have to because they have shareholders and stuff like that. Point is, they are notorious. Anybody that's been in the hosting game for a long time knows, and EIG is notorious for basically running the service into the ground. They don't do that intentionally. They have to do it by obligation to make shareholders happy and make the company profitable, things like that. But from a user perspective, it's very difficult. The reason I have a love-hate relationship is because it's hard for me to wholeheartedly recommend them across the board with no stipulations. So to be honest, the biggest stipulation is that once you start receiving a decent amount of traffic and you get a successful site or a successful blog going, you need to move to another host or a VPS or dedicated server, and I wouldn't choose BlueHost for that. So that's my only caveat with them. Still have a love-hate relationship because there's no other alternative out there that I know of right now where you can start a blog or set up a website cheaper and with better phone support than BlueHost. So while they're not my most favorite, for certain things, I don't have Clever Leverage on there because Clever Leverage gets too much traffic. But if you're just starting out and you're a beginner, it's perfect. And the time and the amount of money that you have to spend to get your feet wet and to get up in the ease that you can get up and running without frustration is well worth it. And I've specifically put tutorials together so that as you graduate in your online journey, once you need to move away from BlueHost, I make it super simple. You can do it within 5 to 15 minutes. I have step-by-step tutorials. But in reality, you can be on BlueHost for a year and never have a problem. It's just when you get multiple websites, I should explain that. My perspective is from trying to host, 300 and 400 websites, which is how many I currently own. And that is just not a host that can scale for me. So I'm a little bit jaded. I've had some good experiences and some bad experiences over the years. And I'm also a little bit, I'm always skeptical. I have a hard time to recommend something because sometimes when people take a recommendation, they think that it's across the board, and that's not the case. If you're a beginner, go with BlueHost. If you're intermediate, go with LiquidWeb. If you're advanced, go with DigitalOcean or LiquidWeb Smart Server, or a Storm server rather. And get your stuff in the cloud so there's redundancy and get it to where you can scale, destroy, and clone an environment in no time flat. If that doesn't make any sense to you, go with BlueHost and you'll be just fine. I hope that helps, and we'll get into BlueHost versus each company in another video. Thanks.